Boom! We're here for another Sunday session. How are we, people? I do it every time. I've got to work on that video thing, the lean forward chair thing. There, get in my face, get in your face, that sort of stuff. How are we? Another week at Stewie P Sunday session. Happy Easter. There's the box of chockies right there. Yeah, been pumping out to work this week. Muzz is going to get on in a second, because he's flat out too. So we're going to have a quick chat about work, is the way things are going. Murray's there. Tappy tap. Sending invitation, adding Muzz. And here's Murray. How you going, mate?
G'day, mate. How are you going today? Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. I got the chockies in the office with me, mate.
Nice work. I'm afraid I don't know what I did to upset the little prick, but the Easter Bunny didn't seem to visit me this year.
Oh, no. Did you take a shot at him last month or something?
Oh, I must have done, yeah. So, buddy, work. Look out.
Yeah, well, there's been plenty of it, and I've had a massive week myself, and I'm feeling every bit of it in my body. I'm full body sore, but it's not unusual. Most of us in this group understand what hard work is, so there's no point complaining about it. We all bloody do it, you know.
Absolutely.
Farmers, truckies, we all do it. We all work our backsides off, so that's how it is. And probably the thing that makes me ponder, trying to sound intelligent, is some of the work that you and I do is not always hard, but can be hard, because something that I struggled to adopt into my life, it's not so hard now, is at school you get told to read a book, so you go read a book. But as an adult, if they say, here's a book, go and read it when you can, 9 out of 10 adults won't read it. They might flick a couple of pages, they'll put it down, and that's it. They might look at it. I've got half a bloody library behind me down here of novels and stuff that I read as a kid that I might have reread once or twice since, to try and keep a habit of reading to influence my kids. If I didn't have kids to influence, I might not have done it. Might have just gone and fixed a tractor or something, you know?
Absolutely. And it's interesting you say that, Stuart, because it's one of the things, I mean, you know, you're so good because you kept consistent in the work that we do online and that.
Thank you.
But it is that shift and changing from the fact of fitting into your lifestyle. Once you fit it in there, and it's not the physical hard work that we're used to doing, and that's the key thing to it, which makes it maybe an easier sort of job. And if you make it that way, like with your reels and your reels, you can make it fun. Because it's something different. It's good for your brain.
Yeah, releasing that dopamine.
That's the one. Yeah. God, you're hitting all smart words today.
I had a big opening up session on last Tuesday's men's call. And I talked about, so I'd done a Sunday drive to Perth and back to drop the boy off. But on the way back, I did what I normally did, was crack a V-can, crank the radio up, and, you know, you caught me on the way home last Sunday. I was pinging off my brain on the energy.
Absolutely.
But what the problem with that energy release, of that dopamine release, is the hangover. You know, I'm not drunk or anything, but the energy you go so far high up the energy scale, and then your body has to level out. So then sometimes you crash the other side, like a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Life is like a heartbeat. So the harder you go that way, sometimes it's got to come down to a low that way. So I spoke to the guys about how to learn to meter my dopamine and stuff like that. Because with my young fella being ADHD, it's probably not completely adverse that I could have contributed to that as far as energy, because there's that little kid inside of me that can go absolutely nuts and not listen to anybody at any given moment. But the suggestion for them was, breathing techniques and stuff. And you see on some of the reels, they go, while you're driving along for your long drive, sit there and take a deep breath and lift your shoulders up, back, roll, and stretch out in the car and do that sort of stuff to have a little bit of, relaxation, but you're still concentrating and stuff like that. So that was one of the techniques I put in. But then instead of fully cranking out the upbeat music all the time, I went, let's get a bit smart here. Put on the old podcast. So I listened to about 4 episodes of Barrage, and I went, there is some just awesome, relevant content in there. And it was really influential. Other people, more messages coming through. Busy man. Work online and offline.
Yes.
But yeah, having that podcast in the car and the Apple Play, and it was just like, hey Siri, can you play the podcast? And she did. Done. Didn't even have to take my hands off the wheel. Wow, I go, and I'm doing some personal development. There's a voodoo word. Personal development. So you can do that in the truck, and you can do it in the tractor, and not actually change what you're doing. And that's just, up like reading a book too. It's just not hard to chill out on the couch and go flip through a couple of pages and shit, instead of scrolling the socials. Oh shit, I've read 10 pages. I've read this chapter. Sweet. Put the bookmark in.
Yeah.
Have your dinner and shower and go to bed. You start to adopt these things into your life, like a good Sunday session.
Like a good Sunday session. And that's the thing is as you say, like implementing these things. I think of them as like your useless time slots, like your long drives. That's a great time to to do that personal development. Like you say, like that's about a perfect example. Podcasts, I don't listen to as many as I should do, and the Barrage one, I really need to get onto that. Scotty Bland was on me the other day about it, and you have as well. I mean, we know how successful he is and how cool he's done in the business, but because why he's sitting there, like you say,
part of his growth, right? So Barrage has been doing this business for best part of a decade, and he's only just come out with a podcast now. He's felt confident enough to do it. So that's his growth. Like, he's a major leader in our industry, and he's only just go, all right, now I feel I'm podcast worthy. So he's got his money and his people, and he can do it. And that's part of his journey. And for us to learn from that, he talks about all the stuff, the key points within our business, and he does it in such an eloquent way. He doesn't actually mention the business or whatever, just all the subjects that one podcast talks about, the techniques, but aren't necessarily based on our business, can be applied to many others. But without saying it, he always leads it back to our business. And it's just a great, he's learned that skill. He couldn't have done it 10 years ago. I'd be flat out trying to do it. I'd have a go. I'd probably, it's like these videos that we're doing here, chucking on YouTube. We're just having a go. And that's
absolutely
how we're going to grow. Could be another 2 or 3 years down the track. I might have the studio. You might have your studio, and we'll get the big boom mic set up and all that sort of fancy stuff. Like Joe Rogan, mate.
Absolutely. With a bloody green screen in the background. But it's that growth, it's that development that, and as you say, like for Barrage, I mean, he's had practice getting confident in his field, and we'll get there. It's just a lot of it's getting over the mind hurdles, and that's another hard job in itself.
Yeah, because that's one of the parts of the personal development stuff. It's probably not the right word for it, but the reading the books and the listening to stuff, so how music influences your life, changes your mood and your actions and stuff like that. Listening to an audiobook can do the same thing. So the more we adapt our lives in a direction that we want to go, then the life just evolves into that version. So like if you can listen to the hard rock or the negative rap music's going, fuck this, fuck that, fuck the world, and all that sort of stuff, guess what you're attracting into your life? That's exactly all. That's all you're going to hear. But then if you go listen to some shit, so I'm making money, yeah, whatever. Suddenly you start attracting this sort of stuff. The amount of irrelevant DMs that I get about business opportunities and stuff like that, it's ridiculous. Minimum 2 a day. Someone will hit me up on any one of these platforms and go, do you want to make some more money? Have you heard about this? I've gone, oh, and you can tell me, I probably have. Whether I do something about it, I've got enough on my plate, mate. I've got quite a few fingers and quite a few pies, and you know the bakery is full.
Yeah. No, and that's I guess it comes down to managing your time now as well.
Yeah. Bonus, probably. Where kids are away, so I've got more me time now, and this is where I do catch ups and stuff, and I can do a couple of more hours out the shed and stuff like that, which is probably why I'm a bit sorer, because for 40 odd weeks of the year or more, I have kids, so then I have to be. You got to be home, afternoon tea, dinner time. Got to do all these meals, lunch, breakfast, fit into their schedule, and that's work in itself. But it's not the same work as when you go, like, sure, the 5 stud rams should have been 6, but Omi didn't make it out of the girls this year. 5 stud rams before I drove to Perth on Sunday, Perth and back on Sunday, or whatever day it was. No, that was Thursday, right? That was Thursday just gone. So then Friday, I did Albany and back. And then yesterday morning, I'm sharing another 11 rams that aren't quite as big as the other 5, so that then I can do other things. I'm going, these rams, I shouldn't breed them so big, but I do. But
you're doing too good a job there, Stuart.
That's yeah, thanks. But that's the physical work that is not normal for me, so my body's not used to it. But then I can't listen to an audio book while I'm shearing. I'm too busy concentrating on what I'm doing. 120,
Absolutely.
150 kilos of ram. You just need to pay attention. But driving in the car and, out between towns and stuff, you can look at a few paddocks or the trees or whatever, enjoy the drive, but then you are just driving along. So add some value into your life. And I'm glad I listened to the advice that I got with as far as not having the energy drink, changing my input to meter my dopamine release so that I don't get all pumped up all the way home and then go crash and burn. Speaking of crashing and burning, Mum's car versus a kangaroo on Thursday night.
Shit.
Car 1, kangaroo 0. But Mum's car, far out. This poor car hasn't done 60,000 yet, and it's hit 2 roofs and just about taken the front clean off it. So
Jesus.
Happy Good Friday, Mum. I crashed your car. But
yeah, sorry, whoops.
Yeah, you work and there's insurance and it's all good, but different car. But yeah, so it was a bit harder on the Friday to listen to the podcast and stuff. I had the BL09 headset things, the Bone Sensory headphones. They were helpful.
Yeah.
But and that drive was a heap better. But yeah, felt like a long haul driver. Going for 8-9 hours drive, days after days. I'm going, I feel for these truckies who do it every day. So,
absolutely,
and that's
that's
their
a whole
body
other.
Gets used to.
Absolutely. The if you get a chance, there's a talk about podcasts. There's one there called Copy Southbound, and it's interviewing all these older truckies, in their 70s, 80s, telling these old stories. And one of the bloke who does the interviewing interviews his old
Gotta
man.
write that down.
And yeah, good call. Pretty sure it's Copy Southbound. And if anyone wants to know, I can send it to them. But there's one there. So yeah, the interviewer's old man is a truckie for a long time, and one of his tricks, probably not the most healthiest of things, but was making sure he held his shit in. So he would do like 10 hours,
Yep.
holding onto the buddy to his bowels, and ready. So by the time he got home, the first thing he'd do was just march straight through the door, straight to the dunny. And they said the amount of times I found him asleep on the dunny because he'd been just driving that long. And anyway, but there's that. There's all these. I mean, as I said, it's probably not the healthiest of things, but there's all these things that the blokes do. Besides,
I used to have something similar in the race car thing. So you always had about 3 nervous wheeze before I got into the race car.
Yes.
But no matter how many times I did that, you get in the race car and all you need to do is you need to pee. So you used to hold on to that for the section, and your concentration is up. Like, right, don't hit that bump too hard. Right, away we go. And you get to the end, and the first thing you do is get out and you just go for a pee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Similar technique, but that's only an hour and a half of racing. That's not 10 hours on the road.
That's not 10 hours of bloody. No.
Yeah.
One of my biggest problems is I tend to eat. I'm a drive and eat sort of a person. A bag of lollies and a bag of chips and away I go. I'm trying not to now. I can try to take some fruit.
I used to do a lot of that.
Yeah.
So driving
now there was
was like a weight gain program.
Yeah. No,
Absolutely. I could gain 2 kilos easy.
Yeah, and that's one bloke I met once. I said, he called him into the station there, and I said, you want to take a crib with you? You know, he said, no, I don't eat on the road. I said, that's a bit strange. He said, well, think about it. What's the first thing you want to do after you have a good feed? Have a sleep. Yeah. So he just drove, drank water, and that was his thing. And so now I try to do the same thing, and it's hard because the whole time I'm sitting there, my stomach's trying to eat itself. But
I try not to eat on the road because I used to, get the little bag of peanuts or chocky nuts or whatever, and you just snack all the way.
Yeah. But
what I started to do, which made a difference in my health, was just sticking to my meal times and being at the break point, the roadhouse or whatever, at lunchtime. Yeah. And instead of getting the corn jack and a bucket of chips, I'm going to the fridge and I'm getting a sweet chicken and chili wrap.
Yeah.
Just make it,
so a bit of salt.
The old TV ads like, make the where's the line or whatever that ad was, about the sugar intake.
Yeah, that's
as he says, having a suck on a can of Coke and a splash of Jim Beam in it.
That's besides the point. Today's special for a couple of different reasons. Now, sorry, Stuart, I've got to get trucking because I've got somebody looking for me. Yeah, absolutely. So, look, thanks for today. Happy Easter again.
Great chat.
Great chat. Thank you, and I'll be rude and go. And thanks to everyone who's been watching. So, we'll catch you later.
See you later, Muzz. And while we're all here, don't forget to click and subscribe on the YouTube sort of crap that we do. Chuck a like on the video. Thanks to all the farmers that grow all our food. Thanks to the truckies that move it around Australia and everywhere, all that stuff. Thanks to the veterans and the service people that have kept our freedom in our country. So that's a nice sort of quick Sunday session for you guys. Happy Easter. Have yourself a chocky egg. Give your kids a cuddle or call them, whatever works for you. And have a beautiful Sunday. And some of you are on the tractor, and I'm going to go down the shed and work on a few so we can get some stuff done tomorrow. All right. Have a good one, peeps.